Losing my job in April had thrown my life into disarray. I was struggling to find another job while also juggling the demands of school. My girlfriend, Sarah, was supposed to be my rock, but lately, she had been distant. Her behavior was changing in ways that set off alarm bells. She was always on her phone, hiding the screen from me and acting secretive. This was a stark contrast to the early days of our relationship when we shared everything openly. One night, after a particularly heated argument about our situation, I confided in a friend. He suggested that I check Sarah's phone. I was reluctant. Trust was the foundation of our relationship, and I didn't want to be the kind of person who snooped. But my curiosity got the better of me. I needed to know if my suspicions were justified. When I finally worked up the courage to look through her phone, my heart sank. There were messages on Snapchat from a guy I didn't know. The conversation was explicit and damning. Sarah had posted a throwback picture of herself in a bikini, and the guy's responses were vulgar. What was worse, Sarah's replies were flirtatious and encouraging. I felt like my world had come crashing down. I took screenshots of the conversation, my hands trembling. When Sarah came back from the restroom, I tried to act normal, but inside, I was boiling with anger and hurt. I couldn't confront her immediately. I needed advice. I called my best friend and told him everything. He gave me two options: end the relationship or try to work it out. I was torn, so I decided to test Sarah's honesty. I sent her a screenshot of the guy's profile, asking who he was. She called me immediately, claiming she had no idea who he was. But when I sent her the screenshot of their explicit conversation, her tone changed. She admitted to making a mistake, saying it was a one-time thing. We argued for hours. She insisted that it meant nothing, that she tried to end it, but he persisted. I wasn't buying it. I packed her things and told her to leave. She had nowhere to go, which complicated things. Against my better judgment, I let her stay, but I made it clear that I didn't forgive her. 3 weeks later, I found a new job. To celebrate, we hung out with friends. One friend kept praising me, saying I set the standard for how men should treat their partners. It infuriated me. On the drive home, I confronted Sarah about the irony of those compliments. She broke down, promising again that it was a mistake and it wouldn't happen again. But the trust was gone. Every time she was on her phone, I wondered who she was messaging. I didn't want to live like that, constantly overthinking and doubting. Sarah and I decided to take a break to clear our heads. During this time, I focused on my new job in school, trying to distract myself from the betrayal. One evening, I bumped into an old friend, Jake, at a coffee shop. We chatted, and I mentioned my situation. He seemed uncomfortable and quickly changed the subject. A few days later, Jake called me, asking to meet up. When we did, he confessed that he'd seen Sarah with another guy multiple times, even before I caught her messaging that guy on Snapchat. They'd been hanging out at bars and clubs, something she never told me about. I was stunned. Sarah had been cheating on me long before I discovered those messages. My anger and hurt deepened. I confronted Sarah with this new information. She denied it at first, but eventually admitted that she'd been seeing multiple guys. I felt like a fool, giving her a second chance while she continued to betray me. I realized she was never going to change. The relationship was toxic, and I needed to get out. Breaking up was inevitable. I packed her things again and told her to leave. This time, there was no hesitation. I needed to move on and rebuild my life without her deceit hanging over me. In the following months, I focused on myself. Therapy helped me process the betrayal and rebuild my self-esteem. I threw myself into my job and studies, slowly regaining my confidence. One day, I received a message from Jake. He apologized for not telling me sooner and invited me to a small gathering. I hesitated but decided to go. It was time to reconnect with friends and move forward. At the gathering, I met Lily, a friend of Jake's. We hit it off immediately, talking for hours about everything and nothing. It felt good to connect with someone genuinely. Over the next few months, we grew closer, and I started to feel something I hadn't felt in a long time: hope. Lily and I began dating. She was kind, understanding, and, most importantly, trustworthy. We built a relationship based on open communication and mutual respect. I was cautious at first, but slowly, I learned to trust again. 6 months into our relationship, Lily confessed something that shook me. She had known about Sarah's infidelities, but didn't know how to tell me without hurting me further. She apologized for not coming forward sooner, fearing it would push me away. Instead of feeling betrayed by Lily's confession, I realized the depth of her care for me. She had been protecting me in her way, and her honesty now only solidified our bond. It was a testament to the trust and love we had built. Sarah tried to reach out a few times, seeking closure or perhaps reconciliation, but I had moved on. I was in a better place, mentally and emotionally. I had found someone who valued and respected me, and I wasn't going to let the past ruin my future. Just when I thought I had moved on, another twist unfolded. I received an anonymous message one evening. It was a series of photos and videos of Sarah with yet another guy, time-stamped during the period when she had begged for my forgiveness. The sender warned me to be cautious, hinting that there might be more to Sarah's deceit than I knew. Curiosity got the better of me. I decided to investigate further. I reached out to a few mutual acquaintances discreetly. What I uncovered was a web of lies. Sarah had been living a double life, involving not just casual flings but a secret relationship that spanned years. The man she was involved with was not just any guy. He was someone high up in her workplace, a person who could influence her career significantly. The revelation hit me like a ton of bricks. All the time she had claimed to be working late or going on business trips, she had been with him. The betrayal ran deeper than I had ever imagined. The emotional toll was immense. I felt as though I had been living in a facade, believing in a relationship that had been a sham for so long. I decided to confront Sarah one last time, not out of a desire for closure, but to let her know that I was aware of the full extent of her betrayal. When I showed her the evidence, her face went pale. She tried to deny it initially, but the proof was undeniable. There was no more room for her lies. Confronting Sarah was the final nail in the coffin of our relationship. It was a cathartic moment, freeing me from any lingering doubts or feelings of guilt. I had done everything I could to make it work, but her continuous deceit had made it impossible. I focused on rebuilding my life with renewed vigor. Therapy sessions became a crucial part of my healing process, helping me navigate through the layers of betrayal and emotional trauma. My friends and family provided unwavering support, reminding me that I deserved better. One evening, while reflecting on everything that had happened, I had an epiphany. The relationship with Sarah had been a learning experience, albeit a painful one. It taught me the importance of self-respect, boundaries, and the necessity of walking away from toxic situations. I realized that my worth was not defined by someone else's actions. As months passed, my bond with Lily grew stronger. We faced challenges together, and our relationship flourished with open communication and mutual support. I was determined not to let the past hinder my present or future. One day, while cleaning up old files on my computer, I stumbled upon a folder of photos and videos from my time with Sarah. Instead of feeling anger or sadness, I felt a sense of closure. I deleted the folder, symbolizing the end of that chapter in my life. Life, however, had one more twist in store for me. One evening, I received a call from an unknown number. It was Sarah. She sounded distressed and begged to meet. Against my better judgment, I agreed, curious to hear what she had to say. We met at a quiet cafe. She looked different, worn out and remorseful. Sarah confessed that she had lost everything: the job, the influential man, and most of her friends. She was dealing with the consequences of her actions and was seeking forgiveness. Listening to her, I felt a strange sense of detachment. I had moved on, and her apology, while years too late, didn't stir any old feelings. I wished her well, told her I had forgiven her long ago for my own peace, and left the cafe with a sense of finality. In the end, the betrayal that once seemed like the end of my world turned out to be a new beginning. I learned the hard way that trust, once broken, is hard to rebuild. But I also learned that it's possible to find love again, stronger and more genuine than before. My journey was painful and filled with doubt, but it led me to a place of self-discovery and true happiness. I found a partner in Lily who valued and respected me, and together, we built a future free from the shadows of the past. And for that, I am grateful.